There's two things that are really annoying about getting a company bonus. One, the taxman takes his chunk, so whenever it comes through to you, you always end up with less than what you actually thought you were getting. And two, do you ever find it just disappears and you don't really know what you've spent it on? Well, in this video today, I'm going to show you how you can get on top of both of those things. I'm going to go into detail on what and how you can plan for your company bonus, and if you stay right through to the end of the video, a sneaky tip that actually allows you to get around the tax situation and be able to have all of your bonus being put towards your financial future. So if you're interested in finding out how you can best make use of your bonus and how you can put it into the right places and make sure that you're getting the most out of it as possible, then this video is going to be for you, as we're going to cover a few key steps and things to consider when planning out how you use that bonus. So let's get stuck in. This very much feels like a nice to have video, right? And a nice to have situation to be in. You've been paid a company bonus, but you don't know how to manage it properly. And I'm well aware there's lots of people that are going to be watching this video or have come across this video and don't actually have company bonuses themselves, or your company doesn't pay out bonuses consistently. I'm certainly in that latter bucket. My company certainly is not able to pay out bonuses consistently, but this year I have been able to receive a company bonus. And it got me thinking when I knew that I was going to get it paid in the salary for the month that I've just had. How do I use that bonus effectively? It was very touch and go about whether our company was going to be able to pay out the bonuses based on company performance, so I hadn't planned for it. So when I knew I was going to get it, I really started to think through what are the options that I have for that bonus that mean that money has the most impact on my life. So that's really what prompted me to film this video. And I think there's a few key things for you to consider when you've got that bonus coming in, no matter how large or how small that bonus is, to make sure that in your finance system it goes as far as possible and helps you out as much as possible in the long run. And also I want to take a look at how you can claim back the tax that you get charged on your bonus through a sneaky little route at the end. So if you stayed right through to the video, you'll have that finance tip that the elite financiers are using to make sure they get the most out of their company bonus as well. But the first thing we're going to cover when your bonus is coming in is considering and looking at whether you have yourself a sensible cash buffer. If you're in your finance setup at the moment, you don't have built in a basic finance buffer, a small emergency fund, for want of a better way of phrasing it, of somewhere around £1,000, then you shouldn't look any further than that when your company bonus is coming into your finance system. Because having that £1,000 buffer, that small amount of savings, allows you to dig yourself out of any hole or emergency bill that comes in that you're not expecting without having to rack up debt. And that's such an important cornerstone of any financial system. So if your bonus is coming in and you're not in a position where you have that cash fund, it doesn't matter if your bonus is £100, £900, anything in between, anything more than that, depending on what your company pay out and what you're paid, then start considering whether you should be putting that bonus towards helping build that emergency fund. And beyond £1,000 as just the cash buffer, the wider emergency fund topic is one worth considering. I've done a full video on how to build an emergency fund and how much you should be looking to save, so I'll link that down in the description. But considering whether you've got that cash buffer and emergency fund saved up is the first thing you should be looking at when your bonus comes into you. I know that might seem boring and that might not seem like a very fun way of spending a bonus, but if you're in that position with your finances, then the likelihood is you're living from payday to payday, and any unexpected cost that could come up could actually cause you financial pain, to accrue high interest debt. So that's what that's there for. It's there to take that free money that's given to you by your company to act as a safety net to help support you in your longer term financial ambitions. Now, if you thought putting the money towards an emergency fund or a cash buffer wasn't fun, sadly you're probably not going to think that this second point is very fun either, so I apologise in advance. But the next thing you should be considering doing with that bonus coming in, if you've got yourself your emergency fund, your cash buffer, you've done that bit. The next thing that you should turn your attentions towards is, are you carrying high interest debt at the moment? Because if you're carrying high interest debt at the moment, then the likelihood is that it's not going to have a positive impact at all on your life for the next few years. And if you're unable to get in control of that debt really early, it could spiral out of control. So considering whether you can use that bonus to help pay down a significant amount of your debt, no matter how large or how small, but being able to pay down that debt means that you're able to get in control of your finances earlier. Being in control of your finances earlier and you setting the pace and dictating where your money's going allows you to then free up money to start spending on the things that you want to do. It's really easy when the money comes in from a bonus to think, oh, I'm going to put that towards part of a holiday. But if you don't have the other money for that holiday, then you're going to have to accrue that through debt. And then you're going to carry the debt of that holiday with you on a credit card or via a loan for the next few months, the next few years. And the long-term financial impact that can have on your savings, your investments, your retirement later down the line could be substantial and far more than the amount of money that you get for your bonus. So by considering channeling it towards paying down high interest debt is likely to give you a much stronger foothold for your finances in the future and being able to build your money up more over time. What's really important with this point is to distinguish the difference between high interest and low interest debt. So I've mentioned a couple of examples already: credit cards, loans. They are things, and car finance maybe is another one to put in there. They are things that are considered to be high interest debt. We're talking annual interest rates of 15, 20, potentially 25%, meaning that even a small amount of money in any of those debt areas can significantly snowball over time in the wrong direction. What the money shouldn't be for your bonus when it's coming in, shouldn't be considered for, unless you particularly want to, is paying off low interest debt. When we talk about low interest debt, we're talking about things like mortgages and things like that that have very small material interest rates that over time build up money, but they are part of your longer term financial kind of system and financial life. So as I said, a mortgage is a great example. You can get some low interest loans. Some people might have been able to secure loans on maybe a 3 or 4% interest rate. Those things are less of a priority to consider putting your bonus money towards, and instead channeling it towards that high interest debt is going to have much bigger impact on your finances. So I get it. The first two were very boring, very dull. Who wants to spend their bonus on building an emergency fund, build it, or paying down high interest debt? I understand that, but those things are really key to helping you grow your money much bigger and much further in the future, and a few £100s from a bonus now can have a huge difference later down the line. But if you've got those two things under control and you're either only sat with low interest debt or no debt at all, this is where you can start having fun with your bonus. So yes, finally, thank you, Lewis, we've made it to the fun part of the video. And this is now where we're going to look at some of the more creative things that you can do, or fun things that you can do with your bonus to really help your finances, to help you as a person and help you out in the future. And now we've done those previous steps, the next thing to consider with your bonus money coming in is, can you treat yourself? And that might seem like a big jump from where we were previously, but a really important part of building a finance system and learning how to distribute your money is learning how to spend money as well. And that might seem a strange kind of thing to say initially, but if you're someone that is in control of your debt, you've paid off all your debt, you've got a sensible emergency fund built or a cash buffer built to tide you over in any sort of troubling situations, the likelihood is that you're really good at saving money. You're really good at putting money towards sensible things. But the problem that is if you do that for the entirety of your life and your financial life, your working life, when it comes to the other end and spending money on yourself and spending the money that you've spent 30, 40 years saving up, you're going to find it really difficult. So there's a skill that it's worth practicing throughout your financial and working life, and that is how to spend money. And this is what another good thing to do with a bonus, because you've got your finances in control through those points we've mentioned previously. There's less pressure on this bonus having to go towards specific things and tick off specific areas just for you to be able to stay afloat. So why don't you consider, do I have enough money, or can I save enough money over the next couple of months with my bonus to be able to pay for a nice holiday? Or have I been saving for a car, and this bonus money will help me tip over the last bit for what I need to be able to pay for a car? Or even things like house deposits and stuff like that. That might not feel like maybe as quite a lavish and spending money on yourself, but this is where bonuses can start to be used to really level up your life and be able to do the things that you want to do at this point in time, rather than having to wait all the time because you're paying off debt or building an emergency fund. As I mentioned at the start, I've just been paid a bonus for the first time in 3 years in my job at the moment. So I'm going through this process currently, and I kind of go down that list and I go, I've got myself my emergency fund built. For anyone that hasn't seen any of my other videos, I cover every single month exactly how my finances are building and building towards my goal of early retirement. So I'll link a couple down in the description and go and check them out. But those videos, I've been able to show that I've built an emergency fund, so that bit is ticked off. I've got rid of all of my high interest debt. So the only debt that I currently carry is my mortgage on my house. So I'm very much in this boat now of, okay, I've got this budget coming in. I don't have anything directly that, I'd earmarked it for because I wasn't expecting it. So now can I use this money to help elevate my life up in today, in the moment, rather than putting it somewhere and not really knowing about it until the future, not being able to make the most of it. So that's a consideration that I'm making at the moment, and if you're in that position, it's a consideration you should be thinking about as well. Now, the last point in this video, the last thing to consider when having a bonus coming in, is the secret kind of point that I mentioned at the start. And you'll also, if you remember at the start of the video, I referenced about tax as well, and this is where you can get quite creative with your bonus to really get the most out of it across your entire financial journey. So when you get a bonus, you are taxed at your standard tax rate, whatever tax bracket you're in with your job at the moment. So if you earn less than, forgive me, I'm just going to use generic numbers, but if you earn less than about £50,000 a year, you'll be on the standard 20% income tax rate. If you're earning over £50,000 a year, you'll be charged the standard 20% tax rate up to that 50,000, and then 40% on anything over that. And then the £45,000 bracket comes in for anything over £100,000. So that's just rough guidelines of where the tax brackets are for in the UK. So as you can see, if you're getting a bonus and you're earning £40,000 a year, you will pay 20% tax on that bonus. Now that can be really frustrating when that money comes into your account and you see, great, well, I've worked really hard this year, our company's performed, it's hit its budget, I've contributed to that, but I have to give 20% of that budget to the tax man. Well, unfortunately, that is how our tax system is set up. However, you can legally get round this and get that tax money back into your finance system. So if you got paid a bonus of, let's just use easy numbers, £1,000, £800 of that has just made its way through into your payslip. However, if you take that £800 and you invest that £800 into your own personal pension, so for this instance, let's say you've got a SIP, a self-invested personal pension, where you've pulled together all of the pensions you've got from your previous jobs so that you've got control over them and they're not spread out everywhere. First of all, if you've done that, great, because that means you're in control of your finances. Secondly, if you pay that £800 into that pension pot, into that self-invested personal pension, you will get a 20% tax rebate on that money into that account. So what you'll actually end up with is the full £1,000 that you started with invested into your pension. Now that really is the way to maximise how much you get out of your bonus that gets paid to you. And let's say you earn over £50,000 a year instead, and let's say you're still getting that same £1,000 bonus being paid to you. What that means is that because you're earning over £50,000 a year, you'll be into the higher tax threshold. So what that means is you will get charged the higher tax rate on your bonus because that's additional income on top of the income you've already got coming in. So if you're earning, let's say, £55,000 a year, you will get taxed 40% on that bonus instead, which actually means £400 of it will disappear off to tax. The same again, if you put that money into a self-invested personal pension, you will get the initial tax rate, the 20%, will almost to check your pension supplier, but will probably be put back in automatically for you. And then you can claim the remainder of the tax back via a self-assessment tax form at the end of the year. So you can claim that money back, and then you're able to maximise the amount of money that you get from your pension. So if you only thought that you had £800 coming in to your finance system, you can look at other areas, other savings that you've got, and say, okay, I'm going to take £800 from there. So let's say you've got a full emergency fund built up and you'll feel comfortable in your job right now. You could take £800 from that emergency fund and you could say, okay, I'm actually going to use that to do something with that money. And then you're going to put the £800 you got from your bonus into your pension. You're going to claim the tax back. So actually £1,000 is going to have gone into your pension. And then the money that you would have been contributing to your pension over those next few months, you can divert back towards your emergency fund to top that money up. So what you've done is you've used £800 for yourself to treat yourself with your bonus. Congratulations, you've earned it. But then you've also topped up the extra bit of money in your pension and you've been able to claim that back through the tax route. So that might sound initially a little complex, but is a really efficient way of making sure you get the most out of your bonus that you've been paid for all the hard work you've done. You deserve it. You've earned that bonus. So some things to consider there on how to actually maximize the money you get for your bonus. So there you have it. Those are my tips on what you can do if you're being paid a bonus this year, or you're hoping to be paid a bonus in the future. If you start to make a plan of how you're going to use that money when it comes in, you'll be able to get the most from it and get the most enjoyment from it. It might not seem fun initially to use that money to plug some core financial pillars like emergency funds, paying off debt, but you will be grateful for that decision later down the line when you're able to free up more of your own money because you're not having to pay off spiraling debt, or you lose your job and you don't have a way of funding it, so you have to accrue debt. If you get those things sorted first of all, you've given yourself a really good financial platform. If you then decided you want to treat yourself with bonus, I don't blame you at all. That's a great way of spending extra money that you've been provided to you by your company, free money, and you've done the hard work with your finances. You absolutely should treat yourself. But if you really want to get the most out of your bonus, then thinking about that pension offer and using the pension option, I should say, and using the tax system to be able to claim that back through self-assessment or getting that rebated to you automatically is the way that you're going to get the most out of your bonus. So definitely some things to consider there. Hopefully you found today's video really useful. I'm going to be doing lots more videos like this on financial tips, finance education, how to get the most out of your money, investing, all of those good things. So if that's something that interests you, then do make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you've got any thoughts on today's video or how you've made best use of your company bonus, I'd love to hear from anyone that's been paid a bonus and what you've done with it. So drop a note down in the comments and let me know how you're using your bonus. But other than that, all that's left for me to say is thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one.